Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Bring It On. Let's enter the palace. Vladaym will be as slippery as a snake, like any seasoned operator. I don't need any voices in my head to predict that.
Let us not dawdle.
Anyone else want to chime in? Some leaders hold on to power with an iron fist, but Tocara isn't the type. He's an opportunist. A brilliant opportunist.
I always keep my options open.
My patience. You remember the way out. Dismissed. The tall man in austere gray clothes makes a show of looking past the woman he's addressing. Vladaym, Vladaym, Vladaym. What has you put such harsh words into your mouth? You talk like you're an imperial clerk, not one of us. The woman, who is sitting with her back to you, lets out an ostentatious sigh, and her tone changes dramatically. Where's my cargo, Vladaym? Falco has it, doesn't he? That's how you do business with your old friends these days. So you don't remember? Then the help will remind you. Guards, escort her out. Hey Dari, move. The massive guards leans down to the woman and says in a lowered voice, Jay, get going while he's letting you. Go drown your sorrows at the Amasekis, and thank your lucky stars you're able to walk out the door. You won't get the chance next time. Adeptus Amasekis. First an insult and now threats. I see courtesy and tact are no longer a valued commodity on Footfall. Oh well, I'll find myself a better deal. She turns on her heel and heads toward the exit. As she passes you by, she gives you a quick once-over, winks at you, then immediately turns away with a flip of her jet black hair. The tall man, who has long since noticed your presence, is studying you intently. Vladaym Tocara, Liege of Footfall. Let us please proceed to my office. A spread befitting a visitor of your rank is waiting. Your entourage will be accommodated nearby. Certainly. Let's go. Please follow me. While you're engaged in small talk, you get a chance to take the measure of Liege Tocara. His expression is aloof and focused, his gestures curt and firm, and his speech calm and quiet, as though he is used to people always listening to what he says. Judging by his observant gaze, he's been studying you in turn this whole time. Vladaym straightens in his chair and says in a polite but completely indifferent tone, Let's talk business. On behalf of the elite of Footfall Station, I offer you my condolences, Lord von Valancius. We mourn Lady Theodora's loss. We hope this sentiment is taken as a sign of our good intentions and willingness to cooperate. Thank you, Liege. A terrible loss for all of us. I hope that under your guidance, the dynasty can recover from this blow and attain even greater power. It was a bold move on your part to announce yourself as the new rogue trader of the von Valancius dynasty, despite not yet having your status confirmed by anyone of import from the Imperium. I appreciate such traits in people. It's good to understand who you're dealing with. As you may have noticed, Footfall is currently in a state of crisis. Its people would benefit from the patronage of a figure such as yourself. Who is that woman the wardens threw out? Vladaym's expression hardens, and he makes a frustrated gesture. A dead woman walking. Some, however, still call her Jay Hadari. A small-time hustler with big ambitions. They'll lead her to a sticky end. It's strange. A small-time hustler, even a particularly audacious one, wouldn't likely quarrel in public with a figure as important as the Liege of Footfall. What seems stranger still is that the Liege knows this small fry by name. She is irrelevant. Since I'm the one in control of the situation on Footfall, I can speak on behalf of all of its noteworthy residents. I was attacked, right at the docks. An outrageous stunt, a show of disrespect for both you and me. Sadly, such incidents on Footfall are akin to natural disasters. Impossible to predict or preempt. They simply happen. Many consider Footfall to be a pirate den, but believe me when I say there is a difference between organized crime and gangs of thugs who have nothing to lose. You are attacked by the latter. The Anvers are a gang of punks who spit on our customs and hierarchy. Even their leader is more akin to an ideologue, a rabble-rouser who calls for people's heads. Not a commander. Sooner or later, we'll find him and have him strung up. They'll likely cool his followers' enthusiasm. Behind the carefully built facade of composure, you sense anger. It appears that this man is not used to losing control, but that is exactly what is happening. I'd like to know more about the Anvers gang. Why haven't they been dealt with yet? He grits his teeth slightly before answering. I've been using all my resources to delay the moment when the station is hit by famine. I haven't got around to the Anvers yet. As detrimental as they are, they're no players. When their leader dies, the rest will scatter. I'm sorry for the loss of your assistant. What? Your words seem to perplex him for a moment, but his face remains cold. Oh, that. Yes, her death was a regrettable development. What's the situation in the region? Troubling. Xenos raids are growing more frequent, trade is suffering, and fringe worlds are going under. Rumors of atrocities being committed by enemies of humanity are causing excessive panic due to their exotic nature. The core of the Imperium forces in the Cronus Expanse has departed for the sector's borders to combat the Xenos threat. There's been no word from them for a while now. Then again, with the distance and the current issues with astropaths, that's not entirely out of the ordinary. Still, we're not yet alone. From several of the worlds hit by Xenos attacks, we've received reports of fierce warriors who descended from the sky and entered the fray. The fragmentary accounts lead me to believe that the blessed Adeptus Astartes are operating in the Cronus Expanse, and I await news of their victories with great anticipation. Have there been any Xenos attacks on Footfall? No, there haven't. Attacking Footfall in general is not a particularly reasonable thing to do. Many ships are docked here at any given time. Even the listed weapons on board them would make for a decent fighting force. And that's not even to mention the firepower that our esteemed merchants have shamefully hidden from the station's customs officials. For us here, Xenos are more of a source of income than a threat. Vladaym freezes, gauging your reaction. Are we talking about dealing in Xeno artifacts here? In a manner of speaking. Miraculously, Vladaym has managed to frame the last sentence as a question. Footfall is a place where anything can be bought, and mind you, where anything can be sold. You should consider your words more carefully. An admission like that sounds dangerously close to heresy. I hear you. You must have misunderstood. What I meant was, loyal servants of the Emperor often trade their spoils here on Footfall, including those claimed in battles with otherworldly beasts. Any other forms of interaction with Xenos are, of course, persecuted without mercy. What sort of patronage do you seek from me? Protection. Not military protection, but a different kind of security. You have, of course, already encountered difficulties with warp navigation on your way here. I'm afraid the scope of these difficulties extends far beyond this area. Reports of disrupted routes and ships vanishing during short jumps are coming in from across the entire sector. Communication with the Clix's sector has been extremely unstable. Of the ships that have dived into the Maw in recent years, none have yet returned. The last ship that came through the Maw from the other side was struck by a temporal anomaly. The jump took almost 2 decades in real space-time. It's a fairly common occurrence. You won't read about it very often because it's not often relevant to the plot. But time in the warp is not the same as time in real space. So, warp travel, sometimes you'll enter it and it'll be 100 years later, or 10,000 years later when you come out the other side. You're well aware that the warp is unpredictable and its fluctuations are a common, even expected occurrence. And this brings us to our main issue. Footfall is a repair shipyard and a trading post. We barely produce anything ourselves, and are largely dependent on incoming shipments, especially food shipments. This station naturally has some reserves, but the supply issues didn't start yesterday. Footfall would be obliged if House von Valancius would assist us by signing a contract for food deliveries. I can't be the only one you've asked for help. Naturally, I tried contacting other rogue traders, but the terms of House Chorda would have bled Footfall dry. As for the esteemed Caligos Winterscale, instead of a food shipment from him, I received a transport, the Navica, packed with refugees. I had to send them off to Foulstone. So many extra mouths to feed would have only worsened the crisis further. I suppose all these warp fluctuations must have created more pressing concerns for Lord Winterscale. And so I put my faith in you, the third and last of Footfall's allies. So what are the terms of this deal? It's simple. Delivery of food shipments from your fertile worlds, Janus, I imagine. I'm quite familiar with that jewel of the Von Valancius Protectorate, in exchange for fair payment. I'm not going to strike a hard bargain here because it's still an Imperial outpost, and my character is an Imperial at heart. So very well, I'll help you with food shipments. Vladaym takes a quick sip from his glass. I'm immensely obliged, your lordship. I assume you're going to need time to get the shipments up and running. I can wait. On my end, I promise you complete cooperation with your endeavors. I have some questions about Footfall. Rest assured, I will be candid. My lips are bound by the oath of service. What exactly interests you in Footfall? This abode of merchants, xenotech traders, and only a few bandits? What oath were you referring to? There's a certain custom on Footfall. Any rogue trader who arrives at the station and docks is considered to be its absolute ruler, and the liege their loyal servant. That makes me your servant. Vladaym's arrogant bearing contradicts his words. What happens if multiple rogue traders are on Footfall at the same time? I won't abuse my right. And I, in turn, remember your gracious attitude. And I'll remember it when the esteemed Caligos Winterscale returns to discover that Footfall is no longer under his patronage. He'll be displeased upon finding his... I know how to say this. It's just domain. Domain encroached upon, and will try to take it back. And Caligos Winterscale's displeasure is a very, very hazardous phenomenon. A fight between two rogue traders will ensue, and as ridiculous as it may sound, its outcome will most likely depend on the allegiance of the station's humble liege. Something tells me you used to be a bit of a bandit yourself. You aren't wrong. My path was long and bloody, but in the end I rose from running a gang that had staked its claim to a treatment filter station, becoming the Liege of Footfall. Many died to make this possible, and those who survived figured it would be more convenient to put me at the head than continue the slaughter of the turf war. I can only hope that my elevation and the peace that came with it have done the station good. So you just avoid rat from the dregs. I don't know about that one. Actually, you know what? As a previous soldier, I'm sure that my characters had some run-ins with the Administratum being incompetent, possibly being sent to the wrong world and overrun by orcs. There's a sound logic to having the sharpest mind run the station. The Administratum would have installed some pitiful clerk instead. I appreciate your breadth of thinking. In this day and age, few choose to allow themselves such a thing. Who holds the reins of the Xeno goods trade? The Casbalic Commission, a criminal syndicate that has seized control of the entirety of the coal trade in the sector. Xeno's creations are in high demand, and so every single colony has a Casbalicate agent or two. Opposing their commercial interests is a lot more dangerous than using their merchandise. He glances at you cautiously. I'm not intimidated by them, obviously, and I do everything in my power to keep them away from Footfall. But my power has its limits. I have no more questions. I'm glad to have satisfied your curiosity. Where does one go to make a few deals here on the station? Here. I'm the main dealer on the station, and it would be disrespectful of me to suggest that you take your business to Footfall traders of lesser importance. Still, you might take an interest in a few people of note. For example, Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso. This servant of the ecclesiarchy is rumored to purchase sacred relics from captains, and other traders don't seem keen on becoming his competitors. If you're looking for goods that can entertain you, find Octavania at the establishment called the Adeptus Amicekis. The chemical bliss that she offers is refined and possesses a satisfactory degree of purity. Just don't ask her to pour you her signature drink. It's meant for common Footfall rabble, not discerning clientele. Let's get down to business. I'm interested in your wares. I'm at your service. You can expect the most generous discounts. Yeah, I bet. Furor. Increases the user's resolve by +2 for each level of Iconoclast, while decreasing all characteristics by -10 until the end of combat. Does not stack. Orthlac Pattern Stub Revolver. 10 to 14 damage. Interesting. And some medkits. That's some cool looking armor. At first glance, I wouldn't consider it or think that it'd be heavy. That's what I thought. This is your cryo weapon. Alright, so the Herald Servo Skull, we had the Cherub out. The Cherub, an artificial biomechanical creation of the Magos biologists, tech priests. Based on their uploaded doctrines, Cherubs can perform various menial tasks for their masters. We also have the Herald Servo Skull. Servo Skull is designed to spread the glory and splendor of its mighty owner. I have the Servo Skull, I think.
I have a nose for profit and the taste for adventure.
I have to reload to get him out.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Greetings, your lordship. I don't mean to hurry you. I do hope that our deal is still in place. The station continues to experience increasingly severe shortages of provisions. Other matters demand my attention. Then I won't take up any more of your time.
Keep your wits about you.
Lord Captain, I'm pleased to report that the inspections have been completed, and all identified system failures have been resolved. The void ship is ready to depart Footfall. The crew is waiting for your further instructions, and there are also a number of issues that need to be addressed.
I always
Lost
have a
business on
plan.
Footfall. Also, convenient timing. Of course.
Let us not dawdle.
To the outside. Bastion Chorda. Also, I'm willing to bet if I drove a harder bargain with Vladaym in there, our profit factor probably would have gone up. A well-groomed young man calls out to you. He's clean-shaven and dressed in clothes that are expensive but unshowy, with a bright aquila embroidered in a prominent spot. Your lordship, I'll be asked for a minute of your time. I am Bastian Indirama Bastal Chorda, youngest cousin of House Chorda, envoy of Incendia Bastal Chorda, rogue trader of the Coronis Expanse by the grace of the Most Holy Emperor. Chorda, There's some of the most influential rogue traders in the Coronis Expanse, but not on Footfall. The station is under the control of House Winterscale. Well, not anymore. Something tells me that we're about to hear a most curious offer, says Abelard under his breath, so only you can hear him. What did you wish to speak with me about? A matter of the utmost delicacy. You see, you've been to the residence of the Liege. Vladaym almost certainly appealed to you for assistance in the arrangement of shipments to Footfall. The Von Valancius Protectorate is famed for the abundance of its main agri-world, Janus. It'd be odd for him not to seize on such an opportunity when Footfall is on the verge of famine. However, the Tocara dynasty pursues its own interests on Footfall. We've already announced our terms to the Liege, but he is stalling. I imagine in hopes of getting a better offer from you. The Tocara dynasty believes. Bastian smiles and gives a slight shrug. The cooperation would be preferable for both rogue trader houses. If you refuse Vladaym, thereby forcing him to agree to a deal with us, the Tocara dynasty can promise you a share of the profits from the future contract, as well as certain other prerequisites. Everybody benefits. Or perquisites? The Emperor's most loyal servants should be more concerned with carrying his will through the stars and less with divvying up profit among themselves. Argentus says disapprovingly, but quietly enough so as not to interrupt the negotiations. Especially when the well-being of one of the Imperium's worlds is at stake, even one such as Footfall. Behind your smile, Master Bastian, hill shadows swirl. Others may not see them, but your worry cannot escape my eye. What are you afraid of? Your house's wrath should these negotiations prove fruitless? Or the wrath of House Von Valancius? Adira, who was yawning in boredom a moment ago, flinches and clutches her face, her fingernails digging into her skin. They're coming, again. Brothers of the ones who came before. I just don't get it. They all have a death wish. I'd like to do this as well. So, I'm assuming the Anvers are going to attack us. But if we refuse his negotiation, I wonder, or his offer, I wonder if it's his people that are going to attack us. My business with the Liege is my own. It is no concern of House Tocara. Strong words. Perhaps you'd like to give my proposal a little more consideration. Bastian smiles and opens his mouth to offer another piece of sugar-coated courtesy, when suddenly... Death to off-worlders... Worders. Oh. I'll get help.
I'll make an example out of you. You will fall!
Alright, let's get everybody parked up front.
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
As the Emperor commands, I
A little
act.
running gun action here.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone! I'll do it.
Concentrated fire, and then we do this. The bonus damage, it should be what, +3 damage?
Guided by
Behind
faith.
cover. Easy peasy.
The Omnissiah knows all, comprehend.
Oh, that's right, we need to do some of this stuff. Is there a way to rotate this manually? rearrange this a little bit. I like how it's organized currently.
The scriptural prognosis is favorable.
Why stand landing? Oh wow. Hey there, Abelard. Alright, I need to... something like this.
Was that you? Or... I know what is to come.
I'm curious about this. Let's do Elusive Shadow and see if I can zap. Oh, it's 2 AP. Shoot. Aim for the opening. Oh, where's this other one at? Joint analysis. Let's do that. Oh, didn't I realize my flank was... I really need to look around more. Combat starts. So I could go after this guy. I think we're going to do this instead, though. Well... no. New idea. Do this, and we do cleave. Oh, that's right, he has the greatsword. Even better.
Victory is imminent.
This might be worth it, actually. Let's do Daring Breach.
No matter the cost.
Put Abelard to work.
Reduced to dust. I will do my duty.
And get behind cover right here. Nothing to it.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered as duty demands.
Unless you can use that a second time with increased damage. I won't be able to use any of her officer abilities, but taking out 3 enemies, I think it's more than worth it.
If you insist, Lord Captain.
Oh, not quite dead. Well, we tried. Oh, I could have used this along with that. That would have been awesome. Yeah, try to run away, buddy.
Ha! That's gotta hurt!
As the Emperor commands, I am... Faith without deeds is worthless.
Little run and gun action here. Alright, our flank is secure. Oh man, that extra move speed is fantastic. I haven't used voice of command yet.
Who if not me?
I mean, I really can't use charge there. I'll have to go through my character. What if I go this way? I
At
have an
your
idea.
beck and call.
The main character is not going to be able to finish this guy off. If I use this,
It's as good as done.
An exemplary strike.
though not quite enough, but we can do this.
Here's
There we
my
go.
perfect moment.
It's only the 2 enemies left, right?
I took care of this one. It will be done. One fewer target.
Nice. So,
Let's not waste time with pleasantries.
provocation. The enemy has a ranged weapon equipped. They can't attack us. So you use this, and you just get a bunch of free attacks of opportunity against the guy. That's pretty cool. Accidentally stumbled across that little strategy. Amber's note from the atrium. Sector 2. Watch your back. Make sure you're not being followed. Stun grenade. Casing chestplate. Heavy armor. So that's our second set of heavy armor that we found. But no one's got heavy armor proficiency yet. I'm gonna give that to Abelard and
Rise to the top or get left in the dust.
Pascal, our next common talent level.
Is there money to be made?
Auspex grants a plus 10 bonus to awareness. Sniper rifle and Sin Skin. Sin Skin is pretty solid. I think it's still the best for her currently, right? Yeah, it's hard to beat. Might give it to Cassia as well. Dodge chance stays the same. Actually, it's the same. But you get the plus 5% dodge if the wearer's agility is more than 40. Hers is not. Hers is, though. Oh, that is quite a bit better. Damage reduction decreases by 5%, but her dodge chance goes up by 22%. She also gets the 5% dodge. Is that calculated into the average? Yeah, I'm going to keep the current armor equipped because of the extra effects there, especially if we can get him into melee, which I try to do all the time. Do not obstruct Cerberus Skulls on duty. Damaging Holy Messengers and the Adeptus Mechanicus is tantamount to sacrilege. Alright, so our current quest, what do we have to do? We have to go back to the Void Ship, explore some planets, find out more about the Strange Gang, which I'm guessing we have to go into the Shadow Quarters for. Telecos Epsilon. Look for the Heretics Den there. Disgraced Person. Discovered Databank. And rumors, we have Warden of the Expanse, Unidentified Void Ship, Stolen Stars, Hotbed of Xeno Heresy, Calamity on Industrial World, Navica, Lost in the Void, Yeah, whispers and footfall about Xenos. So we'll see about that. And supposedly Space Marines in the area. Or the Adeptus Astartes. Alright, cool. Well, we know where we want to go next anyway. First mate Dagon. Was there before, was he? Oh, that's the thingy over there. I wasn't expecting us to have to start a conversation. I was hoping we'd have a chance to end the episode here and then talk to this guy next time. The low hum of voices quiets. A dozen gazes shift to you. The tall man with the shaved head is rubbing his hands together nervously. His opulent clothes are nearly bursting at the seams on his muscular body, and his expression is forbiddingly grim. Still, he's trying to put on an air of friendliness. Greetings, you must be... Lord Von Valancius, your lordship. I heard about your arrival in Footfall, of course, and about Lady Theodora's passing, but I wasn't told you're not on the list. He stops. But that's not a problem, of course. Please, come on in. Chaplain is about to begin. Ah, but we're waiting for one more attendee to arrive. Fidelio. Without Fidelio, it's all been for nothing. Mumbling, the man excuses himself and joins the other attendees. You catch sight of something odd. Before stepping away from you, the man gestures subtly to a nearby servitor, giving it some kind of command. The servitor quickly removes the bottles of Amasec and glasses set out for the attendees from a nearby table. Look around. The gathering you found yourself at seems refined and respectable at first glance. The decorations and the attendees' clothes speak of wealth, and so does the location, which isn't far from the Liege's residence. But you notice that most of those gathered are of rather imposing physique. Many of them have scars and military-grade implants. Several of the guests look like they are covering the exit. A few are clearly carrying concealed weapons. I wonder who this Fidelio is, and why they cannot start proceedings until he or she appears. Judging by the way that fellow with the list was talking about him, it's someone very important, but it's not a name I've heard before. I've never heard the name before either. What is this place and what is going on here? I know nothing about the place, but I can feel that something's in the works here. I sense danger and opportunity. That is, a little danger, but a big opportunity. I'd like to do this next time, but join the attendees. I want to see what this is about. Oh, what a terrible, sorrowful day. We pay our respects to the life and soul of Footfall Society, a loyal servant of the Imperium, a generous benefactor who spared no expense to keep the fire of faith burning, and an example to all future generations. The most noble and unforgettable Master Belardo. This loss. The fussy administratum clerk speaks in a strained voice. He's peeking at a paper with text on it. His speech drags on and on, blending into a monotonous cascade of praises of the late Master Belardo. They say 2 hours passed? So let us offer a prayer to the Emperor for the repose of Master Belardo's soul, the prosperity of his heirs. And I pass you over to our most reverend chaplain. A formidable-looking man dressed in the attire of an ecclesiarchy missionary glares at the gathered crowd. And here you all are, you vultures. Let us offer a prayer, then. If you think that the Emperor, or the messenger of his will, and in other words myself, does not see into your vile souls, you are sorely mistaken. Chaplain looks at you and gives a slight nod. I wasn't referring to our esteemed guest, but the rest of you I know all too well. So go ahead, pray for Belardo's soul. Soon the flames will take him. A fitting end for a life like his. May the Emperor keep his soul. Without another word, Chaplain makes the sign of the Aquila, and pointedly turns away from the attendees. Okay, seemed a little odd. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here, and next time we'll see what this is all about. So that's very just odd situation, I think. Not sure what to make of it quite yet. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.